Facebook and Google are both faced with the same problem that most marketers are, which is how do you find what customers actually saw an ad and came into the club when they might not have taken advantage of the ad itself, but just saw it and decided to come into the club.
Yes.
So now there's technology that allows you to upload people that have come into a club, for example, to Google, and to Facebook has got this as well. But Google's really got the market on this, that will show you all the people in that list that have seen an ad within the last 30 days. And not in a way that says this individual person did it, but it'll start attributing dollars and cents to those people. And because of privacy issues, they won't cite the exact person, right? Because they don't want to give away too much information. But truth be told, if you're doing anything with Join Onlines or doing anything with Google Analytics on your site, they probably know more about your customers than you do. And because of that, I mean, it's a fear that you're uploading data to, the big monster in the web, that has all this data. But truth be told is they know not just where your customers are shopping and where they're looking at, but where they went right from your site and where they were before they came to your site. So all these things that they have, this is just kind of somebody's going to be playing with this data and using it to their benefit. You might as well use it because they have it anyway.
Welcome to episode 201 of the industry's leading business podcast for fitness owners and managers. Each week, we invite business experts, coaches, authors, and owners from around the world to share their expert advice with you, the FBP family. This month's interviews are brought to you by our podcast partner, Precor. Precor delivers industry-leading cardio, strength, functional training products and service to over 90 countries across the world. To find out more, visit Precor.com or click on the link in today's show notes. Welcome, everyone. For those of you who are new to the show, I'm your host, Chantal Broderick. And if you haven't yet subscribed to the show notes, then make sure you take a moment to jump over to fitnessbusinesspodcast.com and subscribe. That way, you'll never miss an episode. As many of you know, the Fitness Business Podcast, along with our foundation partner, Active Management, were media partners of the 2018 Motionsoft Technology Summit. We heard the latest tech-based news from a broad range of companies and speakers from within and outside our industry. I had the opportunity to speak with a number of the panelists from the event, and one of them is today's special guest. David Steele is the Chief Viral Officer of Sneeze It, a division of the Steele Method. In his role, he educates companies on how to attract prospects, build a lead pipeline, and convert those leads into customers. He's a best-selling author and online marketing expert who's given speaking engagements in the United States and abroad on how to create successful and lucrative digital and social marketing campaigns. I loved meeting David at the 2018 Motionsoft Technology Summit, and I know that you're going to get a lot of takeaways from today's interview. Here's a little bit about what you will hear. We discuss why quality is more important than quantity when it comes to generating leads. David walks us through the 5 ways that we can increase the quality of our leads, and he shares tips for converting leads into customers. Before we begin today's interview, here is a quick message from our podcast partner. If you haven't explored a functional training space for your gym, then now is the time. With Queenax Functional Training by Precor, there is a unit to fit every space. Plus, education is included to ensure training is delivered with confidence. To find out more, go to precor.com/fitness business podcast. Enjoy this week's interview with our special guest, David Steele. David, welcome and thank you for joining us on the show today.
Well, thank you for having me. It's absolutely my pleasure.
To kick things off today, can you explain to us why quality is more important than quantity when it comes to generating leads?
That's a great question, and one that's often overlooked by most people that are in this business is that if you're generating bad leads or leads that are not going to close, you waste an enormous amount of time in all the follow-up that could be used for other things. And so when you really dig into the real cost of what we call customer acquisition or member acquisition, that becomes really, really important. Most advertising and marketing companies don't really look at that number. And so for them, it's quantity versus quality. We really want to make sure that the leads that come in are closed, and we do everything in our power. Like our core value is winning. So we have to make sure that those leads are the ones that are going to close, and we have to help our customers close those leads in a lot of different ways.
So David, I believe that you've got 5 ways that you're going to talk us through today and the way that we can actually increase the quality of our leads. Can you take us through those?
Yeah. Well, first, strategy is important, and that's not really one of the strategies, right? Because it's the overarching strategy, which says, what is it that we do? How do we do it? Why? And who's it going to relate to? Which kind of talks about, which is the first, which is the audience is probably the most important that you're marketing to. And so when you're looking at marketing to, leads that are going to convert, and ultimately you want to market to the individuals that are going to spend the most money in your club, you want to look for your members in your membership first. And what's great about social media marketing is the ability to create lookalike audiences. And so you look at your best customers and you find lookalike audiences just like them. So audience number 1. Second is geography and interest. Geography and interest really says they will come to my club. So marketing to somebody 25 miles away that's going to take them 6 hours to come to your club in traffic, that's not very effective unless they work in the area. So geography is very important in making sure you're going to be able to close it, because ultimately, you have to have geographically desirable prospects and members, right? Then the offer, and what you put out is what you get. So if you're a high-priced, a low-volume club that's offering incredible service, and you're really fighting for those leads, and you're putting out these incredible deals that aren't going to last or are not sustainable for that member, that you're going to have to charge them more over a period of time, then you're going to bring in people that are going to be disconnected and ultimately aren't going to convert because they're coming in for a low price, high volume club. So you want to make sure the offer that you put out there is going to attract the people that you're looking for. And yes, free pass always works, but it only works in the case where you have a phenomenal tour. So if your tour and your club is dirty and you don't clean the bathrooms, which doesn't happen to anybody, I'm sure. But if you're really just looking at bringing people in the club that are not going to be happy, then ultimately don't put those offers out there, right? The next is ease of use, right? Look and feel, ease of use. So if you're asking a ton of questions to individuals and have a 6-page kind of survey they have to fill out, chances are they're not going to fill it out or they're going to lie on it. So ask as few questions as possible, only asking for data that you're going to use in your sales process. Lastly, it's test, and test, right? It's A/B test things. It's trying different headlines. One word can make all the difference in the world to that prospect and your lead acquisition. So you want to make sure that you test everything, and you're not just testing the ads and the copy and the sales process just for the cost of leads, right? The bringing down the cost of a lead, but you're also doing it for conversion. You want to ultimately look at that conversion number or cost per member to determine what ads are most effective for you.
What a sensational list, David. I want to break all of that down. I've written a heap of questions for you. Let's go back to number 1. You talked about lookalike audience. Now, I'm familiar with lookalike audience on Facebook. Now that there's a connection between Facebook and Instagram, can we use lookalike audiences for both of those platforms?
Absolutely, you can. And what's great about these lookalike audiences, it's not just uploading a list that might pertain to your customer base, but let's say that you're looking to attract individuals that want a pool. Let's say that's your draw. You have the best pool in the area, and you think that that's going to be the driver. So anybody who goes to that pool page, you can actually install a pixel on your website that will start building a custom audience just for people that are looking for pools. And when you have that, then you can actually grow, that lookalike audience and find other individuals that are interested in that particular topic, right? You want to always focus on what's most important to your members and what has the best conversion.
Hi everyone, David just spoke about installing a pixel onto your website. For anyone that wants to know exactly how to do that, I've put a link on our website with a quick, easy how-to guide. Just go to today's show notes at fitnessbusinesspodcast.com. Okay, now back to the interview. Now, the next one you mentioned was geography and interest. When it comes to targeting, how specific can we get? Can you maybe talk us through an example that perhaps you've set up for one of your clients that you worked with, maybe a gym, a studio owner, of how specific we can actually get with our targeting?
So we're walking beacons, believe it or not. We carry these devices in our pocket that tells everybody, or not everybody, but Facebook and Google and even the cell companies where we are at all times, right? Because your phone is always on. And being that that's the case, is there's more and more technology available that's, it's driven by not where your computer is located, but where you're actually at. So if you're spending most of your time within a 5-mile radius of a club or studio, your cell phone is now that target. And there's a lot of different ad types that now allow us to actually target people that are in a given, area physically, because that's going to be walk-in traffic. What's also really quite amazing, and I mentioned this on a panel at Motionsoft, and people kind of took offense right away, not really understanding the process. But Facebook and Google are both faced with the same problem that most marketers are, which is, how do you find what customers actually saw an ad and came into the club when they might not have taken advantage of the ad itself, but just saw it and decided to come into the club?
Yes.
So now there's technology that allows you to upload people that have come into a club, for example, to Google, and to Facebook has got this as well. But Google's really got the market on this, that will show you all the people in that list that have seen an ad within the last 30 days. And not in a way that says this individual person did it, but it'll start attributing dollars and cents to those people. And because of privacy issues, they won't cite the exact person, right? Because they don't want to give away too much information. But when people took offense to that we don't want to upload our customer list. We don't want to send that data to Google. We don't want them to know this. But truth be told, if you're doing anything with Join Onlines or doing anything with Google Analytics on your site, they probably know more about your customers than you do. And because of that, I mean, it's a fear that you're uploading data to, the big monster in the web, that has all this data. But truth be told is they know not just where your customers are shopping and where they're looking at, but where they went right from your site and where they were before they came to your site. So all these things that they have, this is just kind of somebody's going to be playing with this data and using it to their benefit. You might as well use it because they have it anyway.
Okay, so when we are creating a lookalike audience in Facebook, isn't that the same thing? We're uploading the data about our customers anyway, aren't we? We're uploading their email address, aren't we, when we're actually creating a lookalike audience? Is that the same thing as uploading their information to Google?
Yeah, it is the same, but people look at it differently because at the end of the day you can actually attribute dollars and cents in the Google model, where you can actually say that this person spent $75 if you want to do it that way. So, but you're not necessarily building a lookalike audience. You're getting data back on data you already have, right? You're appending your existing data in a way. Where in Facebook, you're getting something in return, which is a lookalike audience member that you want to attract. Secondly is, I think people just look at, marketing different, that sales data, they look at, like, I'm saying this up to Facebook, but they don't really know what this group is about. But keeping in mind that they know when they're in the gym based upon, just your phone in your pocket. So being that they have that data, big data kind of looks at so many different variables that they have most of the things that you're already uploading as well. So I think it's the fact that it's something new. People haven't really gravitated to it yet, but it's coming and people are using it, and it's very effective. Actually, Chantal, we're about to publish a blog post about this because we are so excited about it, and it's cutting edge, or we like to say bleeding edge. So as soon as it's available, we'll make sure you get a link to that and be able to share that with your listeners.
That would be excellent, David. Thank you. I know that is a topic that I certainly want to know more about, and I'm sure that the FBP family do as well. So let's keep working our way through these 5 ways that we can increase the quality of our leads. Now, the third one that you talked about was offer. And this one always fascinates me because I know that, often we have a tendency to just put out that free pass thinking that that's the best way. Are there any examples of an offer that you have seen that has worked particularly well that you could share with us?
Well, I want to flip it around a little bit, especially to, for how the free pass works, because nothing is better than a free pass. And the reason why I say this is that it really allows you to highlight how good your organization is. And I'm talking about for lead generation, right? For join onlines and getting people interested in referring a friend, offer based, like financial offers work the best, whether it be a free trial, paid trial, whether it be a class pass that, that has 10 classes if you're a studio, whatever it is, financial incentives work best for join onlines or having people actually take action online to buy something. Okay. But for lead generation, nothing is better than a free class or a free tour to see what the club's about. But I want to flip this around a second because this is where people and there are gym operators and studio owners that do this amazing. But I find that we've kind of, gym owners and studio owners fool themselves into thinking that, it's working every time. And, people that know me know I love yoga and they, and I probably do it probably more than I should. But, the studio I go to is actually a client of ours. And what I love about it is I actually get to see the work in action. And I can't tell you how many times somebody checks in and goes into the studio, and then the teacher just really makes it so difficult where I've seen people actually walk out of class like new people and they never come back. And the studio owner thinks like it stops at the front desk when somebody has a free pass. It's everybody's responsibility to make sure that that person is treated well and treated with kindness and respect because they're scared for the most part. And you're there to really help them with their fitness journey. And I can't tell you how many times people either mess it up, someplace in their actually tour, or not focusing what's important to the person because they're just talking about their club versus allowing the person to express what they're really looking for and why they're there. That's the most important thing. Why did you come in today? What are you hoping to gain? What is it that we can do to make it better for you? And that's what we have the power to do, and why I think that it's so important. I talk about this all the time. It's your opportunity to love the person that's coming in and show them how great you really are. And you can't take that lightly.
David, I love that observation that you made about how important it is that it doesn't just stop at your welcome desk team, that it's every member of the business that needs to get on board when it comes to, you put that free pass out there, but it doesn't just stop at that. There's so much more to take into account. And now, one of the other things that you talked about, which was point number 5 in these 5 ways to increase the quality of our leads, is you talked about how important it is that we test. And mentioned A/B split. Now, I'm going to assume that most of the FBP family will understand what that term means, but just in case there's anyone that doesn't know what A/B split is or hasn't done an A/B split or test for their marketing before, can you just briefly explain to us what that means?
Yeah, so you're taking an audience, and let's say you're randomly cutting in half. So some people are going to see one ad, and another person is going to see another ad, and whatever is performing better is going to start being served up more. And then you start seeing like this worked better. Like it could be so simple as just changing the color of the image or the button that they're pressing or the landing page. Because A/B split testing is on the ad, it's on the pages they go to, it's on everything they do. And I always try to really get a good understanding from a client's perspective is when you create your website, like what testing did you do? Like how did you decide where the button goes or what's going to be said and what color you're going to have and all those other things. And most people say as well, I just wanted to get something that looked good. And, I believe that these small differences can have a huge impact to your bottom line. And so we don't take anything per chance. Now, we don't do websites and things like that, but we do a lot of landing pages, and we test everything to nausea. So, we often say is, when was the last time you changed your website? And people say, well, I've had the same website for years. And that's your front door. They might have had all new equipment, new trainers, new exercise classes, but the website, that kind of stays kind of stagnant a lot of times. Or they get a new WordPress site and it says that looks nice, but that's not who we really are today. You've got to really, use that to your advantage. This is your opportunity to have, another location, right? We always say it's the other store, right? So if you have a club, you have 10 clubs, this is your 11th club is your website. It's just as important. And you should test everything on it.
Great suggestion. And I love what you were saying about website, about how important it is to make sure that we're constantly looking to evolve and test the whole way. In regards to Facebook advertising, if we set up an A/B test on a particular ad and we had 2 slight variations of it, is the Facebook ad manager automated and intelligent enough that when it sees that one ad is performing particularly well, will it automatically switch off the other one, or does that have to be a manual process by the person that's managing the account?
So it's a lot smarter than even that, right? Oh. Because an ad might be performing really well at a certain time of the day, while another ad is performing better at a different time of the day with a different audience. So Facebook employs a lot of AI to make sure whatever ad is being served is most likely going to convert at that time and to that person. So just because an ad is not converting really well, and this goes back to the original statement of getting the best leads, right? An ad that doesn't convert really well and the cost per lead acquisition is very high might actually be a better membership conversion than just the one that's getting a low lead conversion. So it's very important to understand what all these numbers mean. And the AI is getting even better. And so what we do is, we have this saying, often pleased and never satisfied. So we're always looking at cost per lead, cost per member, and that's always like in our conversation that, internally. And so if we see an ad doing well and one not, we might turn that ad off and just create a variation of that particular ad to see if it would do better. So we're always having something else in the background, testing to see if we can always get better. And I think that's important, is you just can't set it and forget it. It's not like, an easy bake oven where you're going to have the chicken come out perfect because you set it and forget it. This requires work and somebody to work at it all the time, because it's not just like Facebook and Instagram, but do I put my money in Facebook, Instagram, or do I put it in Google today? Like, where do I even put it even on the bigger scale? And that's important. So it gets very specific. And I really feel artificial intelligence, we talk about it a lot in our industry, is on the forefront of making huge breakthroughs when it comes to this, both on the platforms themselves like Facebook Ad Manager, but also in external programs that cost an arm and a leg, but work really well.
I must admit, David, ever since attending the Motionsoft Technology Summit, it's really heightened my awareness around AI and just how important it is that we do keep up to date with what's happening in our industry, because it is moving so rapidly. And I want to take this opportunity to just remind everyone that off the back of that summit, we actually have had the great opportunity to interview a number of the speakers that are very much immersed in this space, David being one of them. So make sure that you do listen out, because we will be touching on this topic quite a lot more over the next couple of months. And David, I appreciate your insights into it, because it's really interesting to start to get our head around exactly what's happening and how it affects us in the fitness industry as owners, managers, and fitness professionals.
If I could just add one more thing is, oftentimes I say this and I feel this way, and listeners are also going to feel this way. It's okay to feel like you're the dumbest person in the room, because I feel like it a lot of times. There is such great talent in this market and in this industry. It's really an opportunity that if you get a chance to go to like a Motionsoft Tech Summit or any of these kind of like higher learning events that talk about artificial intelligence or lead generation or marketing, even if you're not in marketing and you're in fitness sales or you're in operations, take advantage of it and podcasts like yours, because it's amazing what you learn and what you can take home with you.
That brings up a really important question, David. When you are seeking information and learning, and are there any online resources that you use as kind of your go-to on this topic, or is it primarily like getting out to those conferences where you think we can learn the most about this topic?
Anybody who knows me knows I am a big nerd. I am about as big of a geek as you can get. And though I don't think I am, but they'll tell me I am all the time. And that's okay, because I think that's kind of cool right now in this market.
It is very cool.
Yeah.
Embrace that.
Yeah, I'm embracing my nerdness. I think we're gonna have like Revenge of the Nerds like 7 coming out soon. I go through about, and not just on fitness and gyms and sales and procedures and process, but I go through maybe anywhere from 2 to 4 books a month I read. There's articles that come by my desk. I'm very lucky that I get asked to beta test things and see things that are coming out. I even get copies of books before they come out to read them and talk to the authors about it. I mean, I'm just in awe that I'm, and full of gratitude that I get to be brought to the table to actually, have these conversations. So there's really not one place. And at the end of the day is you got to be very careful not to listen to something and take it as fact, to really kind of make sure you do your due diligence, because at the end of the day is, though there's a lot of great information and there's a lot of, bleeding edge work that's happening, is that it might not work 2 days from now, and nobody ever republishes another book that says, hey, this didn't work 2 days from now, try this. And we're seeing that people are getting their Facebook pages closed down and a whole bunch of other things because their technology they use are not proven. Just start small, learn, do your due diligence, talk to people who are using it. And that's how you're going to learn. And listen to, again, I can't say enough, listen to podcasts like yours and just go out and be part of the industry that you're part of and put yourself out there.
That's a great recommendation. I must admit, David, since we met a couple of weeks ago, I've been reading your LinkedIn blog posts, and there I'm finding there's heaps of information. So I will also include that detail in the show notes so people can jump on and follow you on there as well, because you really do keep up to date with everything around this subject and marketing and tech. And so we'll add that to the show notes as well. Now let's continue on, because kind of talking about tech, we spoke about how important it is to nurture that customer experience when they walk into your facility. Perhaps they've come in with a free pass and they're having the experience of walking through the front desk and going and doing a class. But what if we wind it back a little? Are there any apps or systems that you would recommend for actually nurturing our leads before they even come into our facility?
So I want to be very careful here, because I would say, and this is a few companies ago, we were putting in a new CRM system, and I was so excited. And CRM is customer relationship management, but now you can get something on the web. Back when I was doing it, these were 6-figure systems that were installed on big servers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I was so excited. We were putting this new one in a company I owned, and I was playing golf with a buddy of mine who was a head of CRM training for a large organization. I said, I can't wait. We're putting this new software and life is going to change. And he said to me, he goes, I've got news for you. CRM is not software, it's people. And if you think technology is going to change your people, you're very wrong. You're going to have a system nobody uses. It's people first, technology second. So that's where I think maybe best to start this, mm-hmm. is that there's a lot of great technology and they all work, whether it be the Club OSs or InTouch or VFP, and they're all have their pluses and minuses. We haven't found yet the perfect system in anything, right? But bottom line is that if you don't really treat it like it's a people first technology, then I think you're going to get lost in the weeds and you're going to create a system that people think is working, but just checking off a box is just not good enough. So nurture is nurturing, right? If somebody is interested in spin, I know that you're a spin instructor, I'm a spin instructor, we can talk about indoor cycling all day long. Okay. They don't care about Zumba. And so telling them about all the great classes is really not going to go anywhere, but really promoting that you have the most amazing playlists for your indoor cycle and you've got the greatest instructors and the best times is going to resonate with them. And then telling them that, you're going to be at the club on Tuesday and this is a great instructor and using that as part of your nurturing. And you can automate this, by the way. It doesn't need to be like, I'm going to push a button now, I send us one up email every time, but you can do it in a way that becomes highly successful and works. And do you mind? Can I tell you an unrelated story about a trip to California that I think would kind of put this into perspective?
Go for it.
So I was on the plane, and you don't talk to somebody on the plane probably till about half an hour until it lands.
Yes.
And so I was sleeping, and the guy next to me was kind of sleeping, and it was kind of annoying because his elbow was bumping me, and I was bumping him, and I'm sure it was just not comfortable. It was a packed flight, but we were both kind of up in the last like half hour before the flight landed. We're chit-chatting, and I said, "Yeah, I'm going out." And he goes, "I really like yoga, and I want to make sure I want to take a yoga class." He says, "Well, I'm a yoga instructor." And I go, "No way. How coincidental that we're sitting here, right, talking about this." And we weren't talking for the first like 3 hours of the flight. And he says, "What are you doing tomorrow?" And I said, "Well, I got a couple of meetings in the morning. I should be done by mid-afternoon." He goes, "Well, there's a place I go to that I love doing yoga. I'm going to take the class. Would you like to come with me?" And I said, "Sure." I didn't know anybody out in California. I didn't know where I was going to go. So we met up and did yoga at 4:00 at this great studio. I went back to that studio 4 times while I was there because I enjoyed it so much. And that's what it took. He nurtured me into that studio.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. So if you can do that with automation, you're going to be successful. If you're going to say to somebody, "Come in, we've got, $10 off today, and I'm going to give you a special price and do this," yeah, you might get some people in. But if you get people to really feel you and really understand your organization and take the time to do that, and if you have the time, not every club works this way, but if you have the time and you have, your price points right, make it right. Make that really nurturing and get those people to really, even before they walk through that door, to know that this experience is going to be amazing. And we use the word remarkable. Like I'm telling the story about this yoga studio, but I'm remarking about it. I'm telling you, and that's what the word remarkable is remarking about it to somebody else. And that's what you want to have happen. So every tour is remarkable. Every email should be remarkable. Everything you should do should cause somebody to say, "That was absolutely amazing. That was great." Take the time to do that.
David, I love that example that you just shared with us, and it reminds me we actually have done this year a couple of different shows on the importance of having brand advocates and ambassadors as part of our business. And for anyone that wants to understand that concept more and you're thinking about bringing in an ambassador or an advocate or getting together a group of your people that support your gym and love your gym and talk about your gym outside of the times that they're actually in there, then I'll be posting in today's show notes links to those episodes. I've done a Facebook Live on it, and we've had 2 of our guests this year, Deb Heisler and Amanda Stevens, talk about that. So for those of you that want more information around that area, I will post the links in today's show notes. David, I've got just one question left for you.
I'm excited. This is a good one.
This is the big one. This is our fifth inspiration. And perhaps today you can leave us with 3 quick tips for converting leads into customers.
Okay, I'm going to give you my biggest. Can I give you my biggest one first? And the other ones are going to be like, that's okay. But the first one is most important.
You go for it.
Speed to the call. Somebody has a lead. You want to call them as quickly as possible, as humanly possible. Because after 6 minutes, it's about a 50% drop off by the likelihood of getting in touch with them. And so if whatever system you're using, and what we do for a lot of our clubs is we'll actually not just email the lead and put it into their CRM system, but we will text their salespeople, their GM, that a lead just came in, drop everything and make that phone call, because that's going to save you so much money on all the other calls that you'd have to make to get them back on the phone. Next is focusing what's unimportant quickly, like get to the point. If you're interested, here's what's really has to be delicate is everybody wants to lose weight. Everybody wants to get in shape. Everybody looks better. Everybody wants to be more desirable to their partner. Everybody wants all that. But just get a little deeper. Like, why are you looking for that? What happened in your life that changed? So ask them the questions that gets them talking. Questions are the most important thing. And listen and really kind of, and which takes me to the last point is don't be a robot. The world doesn't need robots. We've got enough of them, right? That just walk through their day and just kind of do their thing and don't even look up and spend their day in front of their phone. But sometimes, and we have the ability to touch people, take that opportunity and touch them, and not physically, obviously, but touch them emotionally to really understand what is they're there for. You have a chance to really make a difference in people's lives. And at the end of the day, isn't that why we all got into this business, is to help people and change people's lives and make this a better place? So this is your opportunity to do it one person at a time.
What a beautiful note to finish on. Well, David, I have loved talking to you today. I think there is so much gold in there for people to take away. I feel like we're going to have a very detailed show notes section for today's episode. And guys, please make sure that you do head over to fitnessbusinesspodcast.com. All of the links that we have spoken about during today's episode, I'll make sure I put those in, including the article that David's going to share with us in regards to that Google stuff that we talked about. So, David, I want to thank you so much. This was just excellent chatting to you. I'm so glad that we were able to meet at the Motionsoft Technology Summit. Thank you for joining us on the show today.
Well, thank you for having me. It was absolutely my pleasure.
Are you interested in increasing your center's income and your trainer's income from small group training? Tribe Team Training is the new way to get more members engaged in small group training and paying extra. Click the Tribe Team Training link in the show notes or go to tribeteamtraining.com.au/podcast for your free formula to see how much income you can make from small group training.
Pre-Core Quickfire 5.
As mentioned right at the start of the show, the Fitness Business Podcast, along with our foundation partner, Active Management, were media partners of the 2018 Motionsoft Technology Summit. We heard the latest tech-based news from a broad range of companies and speakers from within and outside the industry. And following the event, I had the opportunity to speak with a number of the panelists. And next week's guest was one of those people. Enjoy this week's Pre-Core Quickfire 5 with Lauren Fundos, the CEO of Forte Fit. I am super excited to welcome you to our special guest for today. Lauren, welcome. Thanks for joining us on the show.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
Okay, let's kick things off with our Pre-Core Quickfire 5. Tell everyone, why do you do what you do?
Because I've loved working out my whole life.
And what's one ritual that helps you become better at what you do?
Working out keeps me sane. So that's how I do everything. My sane.
I understand that completely. And are there any apps or systems that you use to stay in control of your workload?
Yeah, my team, we use Slack, we use Confluence, Atlassian, Microsoft Visual Studio to track the tech progress. Yeah, and that's the only way to keep this all organized.
Wow, you are all over the apps. And are there any books or podcasts or blogs that you would recommend and why?
Yeah, I'm reading now The Big Four about Amazon, Google, Facebook, and Apple. It's an incredible book, just really understanding those companies. I like to read biographies typically about, Jeff Bezos or Steve Jobs and really understand how those masters, got to the top of their craft.
Amazing. I'm going to grab that link and pop it in the show notes and tell everyone what topic we're going to be focusing on during your main interview.
Yeah, live streaming in the fitness space.
Ooh, it is a hot topic right now and I cannot wait to dive into it with you. So Lauren, thank you for joining us today for the Pre-Core Quickfire 5.
Thank you.
Join fitness industry peers from around the globe at the 6th Annual Motionsoft Technology Summit in Washington, D.C. You'll learn how the most successful operators in the fitness industry have implemented technology solutions and tools to improve operations, increase productivity, and exceed member expectations. Visit MotionsoftTechnologySummit.com today to register for the 2019 Motionsoft Technology Summit. Before we finish off today, one quick and very important announcement for everyone that's coming to URSA 2019. You are all invited to the FBP Family Meetup on Wednesday, March the 13th at 6 a.m. If you're not familiar with our meetup walks, it is an active networking event where we walk and talk for 45 minutes and then return back to the main entrance of the Marriott Marquis San Diego by 6:50 a.m. The meetup is free and it is the best way way to start your day. We do need to know attendance numbers, so please make sure that you jump over to fitnessbusinesspodcast.com, go to the top of the page and click on the tab called Meetup. Then register your details for the Ursa Walk. If you need any more information, then please email me directly at chantal@fitnessbusinesspodcast.com. Before we finish off today, a reminder that of course all the resources, the links and a transcript for today's show can all be found at fitnessbusinesspodcast.com. As we come to the end of today's show, I want to thank our foundation partner, Active Management. I need more leads, is what many fitness business owners say. Let Active Management help turn your About Us page on your website into a lead generating machine. Download your free checklist at fitnessbusinesspodcast.com/active. Thank you all for joining me for another week of the show. I will see you next week. And remember, what you leave behind is not what's engraved in stone monuments, but what is woven into the lives of others.